What if the United States lost its independence war? The American Revolutionary War breaking out on April 19, 1775 would see the independence of the United States of America from the British Empire. In less than 250 years, the United States would be the sole great power in the world. But what if that didn't happen? What if the United States lost its independence war? In this timeline, George Washington fails to cross the East River and he was captured by the British and then hanged for treason. The Brits then capture all of New Jersey. Here William Howe doesn't abandon the North, and together with John Burgoyne encircle and capture New England. The next year he captures Philadelphia, Eastern Maryland, and Delaware. At this point only Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia were left fighting. That same year they launched their Southern campaign and by 1780 captured Georgia, South Carolina, and Southern North Carolina. In 1781 the British launched an offensive from both the South and North to finally destroy the Americans. In the end, all that was left was Yorktown, which got encircled on September 28. 3 weeks later, on October 19, 1781, Horatio Gates surrenders to the British, bringing an end to the war. The colonies were for the next 17 years under direct British occupation, but it was agreed that the 13 colonies, North Florida, South Florida, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Quebec, Rupert's Land, and St. John's Island would all get one seat each in the British Parliament, meaning the Parliament now has 578 seats from its original 558. Though they are underrepresented, this at least gives the feeling they have a say in their own laws. The French Revolution would likely still have happened. Despite the United Kingdom owning America, little changes as they weren't a military power, but they could give more bribes to European nations to declare war on France. France would have still taken Louisiana, but can't just sell it to the British and so keeps it. After the Napoleonic Wars, it was returned to Spain and became a part of the Mexican Empire. Just like in our own timeline, the United Kingdom would care little about Europe in favor of its colonial empire in Africa, India, and Oceania. When they banned slavery in 1833, the Deep South rebelled against the British, but was hopelessly crushed by the United Kingdom. Here the Oregon Territory is solely owned by the UK. China would still see a century of humiliation, and the British take Hong Kong, and later Niue. After the Crimean War, Russia likely doesn't sell Alaska, as the point of it was the Brits not getting it. In 1867, South Florida, North Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Ontario, Rupert's Land, the Northwestern Territory, and Oregon, Ohio, and the Indian Reservation unite into United Provinces of America. The UP is a British dominion. Its main two parties are the Conservatives and the Liberals. Meanwhile, in Mexico, not only did Central America declare independence, but also the Republic of Louisiana, as it was mostly French. Louisiana was, however, later invaded by France itself. In Europe, Germany would unite and Africa is partitioned. In 1914, the World War I would break out. Here the Brits could send far more American forces, and though they may see some victories in the early stage, these Americans wouldn't turn the tide, as the USA was the only nation in 1918 that wasn't exhausted in OTL. By late 1919 the war ends in a truce. Germany keeps its colonies, but withdraws from France and Belgium. Luxembourg holds a referendum whether to join Germany or stay independent, with most voting to join Germany. Germany also keeps its Eastern European holdings, and Austria and Bulgaria keep their Balkan holdings. The Ottomans lose Palestine and Lower Mesopotamia to the United Kingdom, and Hejaz becomes independent. The Communists still win the Russian Civil War, but here the Whites flee to Nova Archangels in Russian America in modern-day Alaska. Mikhail Diderix rules as a despot, and the monarchy is restored under Grand Duke Nicholas Nikolaevich as Nicholas III. In France, a socialist revolution breaks out which quickly turns into a civil war. With help from the Bolsheviks, they establish the French Commune. The government flees to Corsica and effectively becomes a British protectorate. The French Commune and Union of Soviet Socialist Republics form an alliance, with the aim being the global revolution. The Germans and Brits start a process of détente to counter the communists. Italy too became communist. Japan invaded French Indochina with Siam taking all lands west of the Mekong River. In Austria, Charles I aims to federalize the empire, but TACS went nowhere and an Austro-Hungarian civil war broke out, but then Croats, Serbs, Romanians and Slovaks rose up against Hungary and the revolution ended. The United States of Greater Austria are formed. In Constantinople, the Ottomans were initially hostile to the Germans after losing a lot of land, but after a coup against the three pashas and communist rise they reapproached Germany. Meanwhile, the Swatis conquered Hejaz, but when they invaded Jebel Shamr, the Ottomans invaded them. They took Hejaz and Al-Hissa while Jebel Shamr got Nejdi. In 1936 the Spanish Civil War broke out. France and the Soviets supported the Republicans while Germany and Great Britain supported the Nationalists. This quickly escalated into a Second World War. With permission from the United Kingdom, Germany moves through neutral Belgium. The French were shocked, and Germany closes in on Paris. In the south, French Republicans make a comeback, and the Commune collapses. The Austrians meanwhile take down Italy. After that, the Berlin-London alliance focuses on the Soviet Union, and by 1939 the war ends. In Italy, Austria establishes pro-Vienna regimes in Modena, two Sicilies and Tuscany, while Lombardy, Venetia is in a personal union with Austria. Piedmont, Sardinia becomes a pro-British regime and the Papal States become independent. France is split along the Loire River, with the south becoming the French Fourth Republic, and the north the Kingdom of France. In the Soviet Union, Finland took Karelia and Kola while Germany puppeted the Don Kingdom and Russian Tsardom. Lands east of the Urals become the Russian Empire. Turkestan becomes an independent khanate. In 1945, Japan defeats China, and the country becomes a Japanese puppet state. After the war, a three-way Cold War between the Europa Pact led by German Empire, Commonwealth led by the United Kingdom, and Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere led by the Empire of Japan. The British dominions like Australia or America would still get independence, but like with Canada in our own timeline, America keeps the monarchy and friendly relations to London. Nonetheless, they would surpass them as a great power. The UPA would also have no segregations of black people. In this timeline, the United Kingdom would remain a global superpower until the 80s, only to lose that title to the United Provinces of America, who are a fusion of what is nowadays Canada and the United States of America. A monarchist Germany and Japan would also dominate their own sphere of influence, with instead of Beijing and Moscow the enemies of the UPA being Tokyo and Berlin. If you liked the episode, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.